everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about my favorite rides at Disney and my favorite rides at Universal. That was a highly requested video, but I am going to split that into videos, like do Disney separately and do Universal separately. But it is hot as hell in Ireland, and I am boiling, and it's already like 8 p.m. on Monday, and I am still like just roasting. I had to close the window because there's a lot of people outside, and otherwise it would be too loud for me to record this. So I think I'm gonna split this video in two parts as well, and just do 2 parks at a time, because I don't think I can, otherwise it would be quite a long video, and I don't think I can sit here and record for that long and stand it. So it should cool down on Thursday, which is the day before I leave to New York. Hang on, give me a second, let me tilt this a little bit. And I'm hoping I can record part 2 then, and then you have a video for either Sunday or Monday, because I don't know if I'm uploading this tonight or on Tuesday. As I said, it's already 8 p.m. It depends on how long it takes me to edit it and how long YouTube takes to upload it. YouTube can take 15 minutes to upload a video, and it can take over an hour to upload a video, and I don't know why, because they're pretty much always the same file size. I think it just has to do with how busy YouTube servers are, so I am going to try to publish it tonight because I missed Sunday. It was a nice weekend. I was out a lot. I didn't want to miss today, but my golly, it's been really hard to find a place and time to record. And also, I have to work all day, which is not easy to do when it's this hot. It's still 25 degrees inside my house, and it's 8 p.m. So just sweating. Okay, so today I thought I would do Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is not my favorite park. My favorite park is Epcot, but it is the biggest park. It's got by far the most rides. And Animal Kingdom is my least favorite park. I haven't done it the last 2 years, and I think people ask for my 3 favorite rides from each park, and I think I only do 3 rides in Animal Kingdom, so that would literally be them. So I don't think I have too much to say about that park, but I could probably talk endlessly about Magic Kingdom. So let's get into Magic Kingdom first. In no particular order, because I don't actually have in a particular order. Okay, my favorite ride has pretty much always been and still is Peter Pan's Flight. It's an old ride. It was there when the park opened, I believe in Walt Disney World. It opened in 1972, and Peter Pan's Flight has always been there. They've updated the animatronics since then to look a little more colorful, I guess, and just, refurbished the ride. But it's still the same ride. I have 2 issues with the ride. I will say that. I try to always get a lightning lane for the ride, but I don't think you can get an individual lightning lane. I think you have to buy a lightning lane day, which, depending on what time of year you go, the prices vary, but it's always really expensive. I still hate the fact that Disney did away with their free fast pass system, but because the lightning lane system works the same now, they tried a few different variations of it, and now it's pretty much the same in that you book 3 rides, times for 3 rides, but not every ride zones, and you can't book a ride from the same zone at like the same. Like, for example, I can't book Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at like 2 p.m. and then book Tiana's for 3 p.m. and Peter Pan's Flight for 5 p.m. because Tiana's, which is the new Splash Mountain, Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad are in the same zone, and you can only pick one. And once you've ridden that, you can pick another. The problem, I'll get into the problem, because the problem therein really lies in Hollywood Studios, not, and in a bit in Epcot, but yeah, in Epcot as well, actually. But that's my other video. In Magic Kingdom, I don't so much of a problem with that, but I just find it ridiculous that the system works the same way. Once you've booked 3 rides and you've done one, you can book another ride, and that's exactly how the Fast Pass system used to work, but it was free. Now you have to pay for it. And again, there are some rides like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, if you don't book it at like midnight, because it opens midnight. Actually, I think now it opens 7 days before for tourists or for hotel guests. If you don't book it as soon as you can, you won't get a time for the day because it books out really fast. So it's not a ride you can do after you've completed your first one. You won't have a lightning lane available anymore, and that's my problem with the system. But it's easier to explain in my other video, because I have several rides there that I love doing that I can book together and that always book out, so it's easier to explain. So I always try to do Peter Pan's Flight on a lightning lane, but I don't get a lightning lane for Magic Kingdom every time I go. I try to just do it once on a trip, and I still want to do Peter Pan's Flight like on other days I go, but I have 2 issues with the ride. One is the queue. It's a very claustrophobic queue. First of all, the queue is always really long. I don't know what it is about that ride, because the carts, like, they're like sailboats that they so someone stands at the front of the ride and supposedly sprinkles like Tinkle Bell's fairy dust on it to make you fly, like they do with the children in Peter Pan. I don't know. I think the ride is supposed to be a sailboat. That's what it looks like to me. But there's a lot of them. It's like a continuous roll of sailboats. So it's a ride that moves pretty swiftly, yet the queue, even on an off day, is always at least 50 minutes, and on an on day, it's at least 90 minutes. And it's a very claustrophobic queue. Once you get to first of all, a lot of it is outdoor, and in Florida heat, that's not great. And then once you get to the indoor portion, which is air conditioned, there's a lot of really narrow hallways and very dark that you have to queue in. And as someone who is a claustrophobic person, I do not love the queue of that ride. And then second, the ride is really short. I think it is one of the shortest rides in Disney, to be honest. I don't think it's even a minute long. So you queue for a really long time. And the ride is very short, which baffles me even more why the queue is always so long, because it's not like you have to wait 3 minutes for people to get off it. Like I said, I don't even think it takes a minute. So I think it's just a really popular ride. For good reason. It is my favorite ride as well. I love the fact that you're flying through a scene and that you're flying over like the miniature London. And yeah, I do love it. Like, it is my favorite ride, but I do think it's too short for the fact that you have to queue so long every time. By the way, my ears, I should maybe move further back from the camera to show them better. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I think that works. They are from the Flower and Garden Festival from 2022. I was there for 2 months in 2022, and I went to Disney Springs in my first week because I wasn't staying in Disney for 2 months. I was only going to Disney for like a week in the second month. But I went to Disney Springs in the first week and went to the World of Disney store and saw these, and I was like, okay, but don't buy them already. It's your first week here. You've got 2 months. As with everything, I always try to say to myself, if you still want it by the end of your trip, buy it, but don't buy it on impulse. You might not want it anymore. And after that, I went back, I think 10 times, and they were always sold out. And I would always ask someone who worked there, and they were like, yeah, we get them in stock regularly, but they sell out within a couple of hours. I went to several Disney stores at Disney Springs. I went to several stores in Epcot itself and in Magic Kingdom, and they were always sold out. So I ended up going home without them, and then I checked the Disney UK online store, and they sold them. And I was like, I can't believe that. So I ordered them in Europe, got them sent to my house, and I get complimented on them every time I walk around in Disney World. People still really love these. Hang on a second. And I love wearing them for the fact that they're official Disney ears. They rarely hurt my head. I have a pretty wide head, which is why headbands always pinch it, and my temples start hurting. I have to take them off after maybe an hour or so. These I can wear usually all day. Sometimes still start hurting, but most of the time they don't. They're pretty comfortable. So, yay for these ears. Okay, so my second favorite ride in Magic Kingdom is the Haunted Mansion. This is a ride that I never ever did before. I think the first time I did it was probably 2022 when I went back after 2 years of not going due to COVID. But I was always afraid of it because I'm a big wuss, and I remember vividly when I was 12, we went to Disneyland Paris for my Holy Communion. And Disneyland Paris, I think, had only been open for about 2 years. I always say this, they were still building Space Mountain. That's how long ago it was that I went. And we did the Haunted Mansion, and all I remember about it was the elevator, because I was deathly afraid of elevators as a child. Like, my parents used to live on the 14th floor of an apartment building, and I always took the stairs. I had to stop halfway through. Even at age 14, I wasn't fit enough to do it in one go, but I always took the stairs. I didn't take elevators anywhere. As an adult, I've learned to take them, but I still hate them. And if the elevator gets too crowded or stops too many times, I get off and either take the stairs if they're open. Not every public building opens up their stairs if it's not an emergency, which is why I had to learn to take them, because I stay in hotels so often. There are a lot of hotels where the stairs are only in case of emergency, so I had to start taking elevators. But I'll either take the stairs or I'll wait for the next elevator. I just can't handle if it constantly stops at every floor because people need to get on. Oh, no, thank you. And that's all I really remember from the Haunted Mansion as a kid, is that big elevator, which terrified me, so I never did it as an adult. But it was all of my friends' favorite ride, and I was like, yes. loves it. You gotta at least do it once and see what it's about. And now I love it so much, I do it multiple times. It also doesn't, on a good day, it doesn't have the longest queue. It always says 40 minutes and you're in like 15. The queue is never as long as it says. So I do that ride a lot. I try to do it 2 or 3 times per park visit. But an interesting tidbit about the elevator, I found out that in, I believe, Disneyland in California and in Disneyland Paris, it is an actual elevator that moves to below the building, and that's where the ride starts from. In other Disney parks like Disney World, it only gives the illusion of being an elevator, but you actually just walk out on the same floor. So, in Disney World, I'm no longer scared to get in it. But in Disneyland Paris, I went during COVID because I couldn't go to Florida. No flights were going to the US. I went in 2020 and 2021, I believe, to Disneyland Paris, and it's still, that part of the ride still kind of scares me because I know it's an actual elevator. I have to Google that after this video to make sure that information is still correct. But I'm pretty sure it's a real one in Disneyland Paris. But not much else to say about that ride. It's ooky spooky. I don't really like stuff like that, but I really love that ride. And it's pretty long, which is nice. It's nice to have kind of a long ride, and it's dark and very cool temperature-wise. So it's like a really nice come down for your senses when you're overly sensitive like me. Because you can just sit there in a dark room with, creepy stuff, but for a decent length of time. And then my third favorite ride, which may low-key be my favorite ride, but I don't want to say it, is the People Mover. I love the People Mover. I have actually, at one point, I went on it, did the whole loop, and then went off it and went straight back on it. And when I came around for my second loop, the guy who was like telling you to get out was like, "Didn't I just see you?" And I said, "Yeah, I just really love this ride." And he said, "Well, just stay seated." He said, "You don't have to get up and get back in the queue and get back on." He said, "Just stay on it." So I did it like 3 times in a row. And I do that on low traffic park days. If it's got like a 20-minute queue, which is a lot for the People Mover because a lot of people can fit in it, I won't stay seated because I think it hinders other people. But if it's like a walk-on, then I will definitely stay seated and do it a couple of times. I don't know for those, it's unique to Disney World. I don't believe it exists in any other Disney park. So if you've never been to Disney World, but you've been to other Disney parks, you'll probably know Peter Pan's Flight and the Haunted Mansion, but not the People Mover. The People Mover is in Tomorrowland. And it's this giant, it's like a row of, I think, 5 carts that fit about 4 people each, but I always get my own cart traveling alone. And there's a lot of them at the same time, and they go past like a bunch of rides. They go through Space Mountain, which can either be a really long run of pitch black, or I've had 1 or 2 occasions where it was lit up. I remember once when the ride was actually going, like they were doing a special thing where you could ride Space Mountain with the lights on. And once when the ride was broken down and then they put the lights on. So that's kind of cool when you get to do that. Otherwise, there's a lot of darkness there. But there's a voice that explains all the rides to you and when they were built and Walt Disney's vision for them. And then you go along the Carousel of Progress, which explained what that is, which is a ride I also love, by the way. And then it goes through a hallway where you can see into like a merchandise shop and into the Buzz Lightyear ride. You can see other people on that ride. Last year, Buzz Lightyear was being refurbished. I don't know if that's finished yet. And they actually closed the fences, I guess, in front of those windows, so you couldn't see in them. Disney's very strict about that. You're never allowed to see behind the magic, so I'm always surprised they run the people mover when the lights are on in Space Mountain, because you can literally see all the tracks and decorations and everything. But yeah, those would be my favorites. Now, there's a lot of rides in Magic Kingdom I love. Like, I love the Winnie the Pooh ride, the Little Mermaid ride where you sit in a clam and go through the Little Mermaid scene, which is my favorite Disney movie. I love Tiana's Bayou Adventure. My only gripe with it is that it actually makes you wet, which Splash Mountain didn't really. So from now on, it's a ride you have to do on either a really hot day or take a poncho, because you will get wet on it. I love Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I love the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I love Tron. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, I do almost every ride in Magic Kingdom because they're all pretty chill, aside from Tron. And actually, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is pretty hardcore as well, for being like a kid's ride. But I don't get to do all of them because Seven Dwarfs Mine Train has a consistent 180-minute queue, and I'm not queuing 3 hours for anything. And Tron is pretty much the same. So, and I don't do Space Mountain. They really need to refurbish that ride. I did it a few years ago and got such a crick in my neck from the harsh tracks that I was like, yeah, no, they not anymore until they smooth this out. It doesn't make loops, so it doesn't make me nauseous, but it's very harsh. It needs a refurbishment. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I could talk about Magic Kingdom for hours, but those would be my top 3. Peter Pan's Flight, Haunted Mansion, and the People Mover. Hugely underrated ride. Seriously, don't skip the People Mover if you go to Magic Kingdom. And then Animal Kingdom. Now, I said at the beginning of the video, it's my least favorite park. For a lot of my friends, it's their favorite park. I don't get the appeal, but I will say up front, I am not an animal person. I love dogs. Like my Instagram, I follow 1 million dog accounts, but that's it. I am quite honestly scared of most animals. I didn't grow up around animals. I grew up in an apartment, so we didn't really have pets. We had a goldfish and a bird, a parakeet, for a very short time. So, I didn't grow up around animals, and most of them just scare me. So it's not my favorite park. Also, I did Avatar's Flight of Passage once because everyone raved about it. It has a ridiculously long queue, and I got a lightning lane for it, so I was like, ooh, yeah, let me grab that and do it. And I had to close my eyes after 10 seconds, and I tried to reopen them a few times, but when you reopen them in the middle of a ride that makes you nauseous, it's even worse. It's a simulator, and most simulators make me, actually all simulators that aren't physically on a track, like where you actually also move, make me nauseous. So I can't acknowledge that it's a fantastic ride. I just can't do it. So there's really only 3 rides I do in Animal Kingdom. That is Dinosaur, which I do love, but is closed for refurbishment. They're retheming it So it's gonna be the exact same ride, just with a different theme. It's a very rough ride, I will say. I was once on it with a father and like a 5-year-old, and that 5-year-old screamed her head off. And in our picture, she is like terrified. It is a very rough ride, so I don't know how suitable it is for kids, but it's Disney. You would think everything would be. So I'm looking forward to that reopening. I do really love it. It's definitely one of my favorites. And then my second favorite would be Navi River Journey, which is also from Avatar. It's just a chill boat ride through a scene that's the world of Avatar. It's calm, beautiful, and quite long. I appreciate long rides. And then the third would be the safari ride. I do love it, even though most animals scare me, and there's always a moment on that ride where I get scared because something gets really close. Even if it's a giraffe, I'm like, I know they're not supposed to hurt us, but you never know. They roam around loose, and then you've got like the panthers and the tigers and stuff that are enclosed, but you can't really see that they're enclosed. The first time I did that ride, I thought they were just running loose, and I was like, shit, really, this isn't safe. But as we got closer to them, I could see there was like a fence, but it's either just see-through or like an electrified maybe. I don't know how they keep them in, because it didn't really look like there was a fence or much of a fence. But I do love that ride too. I do love seeing animals from a safe distance. I just don't like being up close to them. The only animals that I really love, again, besides dogs, are sea animals. I love like aquariums and yeah, just like underwater stuff. But that's also because you're protected from them, so difference there, I guess. And that's really it. I tried to do what's it called? The mountain roller coaster, Everest. But I didn't know it went backwards, and it goes backwards a long time, so I nearly barfed on that one. And I have done Kali River Rapids, which is the big round raft, rapid river ride type thing that almost every theme park has. It's okay. It doesn't get you very wet, which I appreciate, but it's not one that I queue for either. So there are really only 3 rides that I specifically go for, and I did always go to It's a Bug's Life. But out of all the 4D shows I've seen at Disney, it's not my favorite. So yeah, really the 3 rides I would go for are Dinosaur, Navi, and the Safari. And the Safari typically has a long queue. So does Navi, actually. I didn't go last year because Dinosaur and It's a Bug's Life had already closed, and I was like, oh, I'm not going for 2 rides. But I didn't go the year before either, even though it was my last chance I knew to ride Dinosaur. But again, the ride is coming back exactly the same, just themed differently. So I am okay with that. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about Animal Kingdom that I just don't like. I find that it's a very long walk in before you even get to a ride, which is kind of the same for Magic Kingdom, but I don't know. Magic Kingdom is what it is. For Animal Kingdom, I find it a little bit annoying because I always tend to go when it's really hot, and there isn't much shade, in my opinion, aside from in the Pandora section. But when you go to like Asia and Africa and those areas, it's all very open space. I always overheat in Animal Kingdom. I find it very hard to find a piece of shade that I can sit in, and I also always find those areas really crowded. They're quite narrow, and I have a lot of like eating set on doing it last year at least once, but I just didn't. I'll aim to do it this year at least once, but, well, once. Once is enough. I don't think Dinosaur, or the new one, is gonna reopen this year. I know they've finished construction on a part of that land, but I don't think the whole thing's gonna be finished. I'm not sure though. By October, maybe. I'll see. But that's it for this video. I still talked for half an hour. I can't believe that. I am like sweating. So I'm gonna leave it here. I will be back with a part 2, hopefully Sunday or Monday. Again, it'll depend when this video goes up. And I'm sorry if I rushed through this a little bit. I feel like I still talked for half an hour, but I rushed a little bit. It's really just because I'm feeling very uncomfortable and I just want to get this over with. I will definitely make the next video a bit slower because I plan to record it on Thursday when it will plummet straight back down temperature wise and be cloudy, so it won't be as hot in my house, hopefully. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your favorite rides are in the comments below. Thumbs up if you're a